back to the Bell Ringers podcast. Colin, Daly here alongside Benjamin Goldstein, and the Phillies have been active in the market and then quiet in the market, and we're kind of lost over here. Doesn't seem like there's much of a direction, but we still have a lot to discuss today. So, Ben, we're going to dive right into it. We're in like early mid-December, and the Phillies are like kind of banging out moves. We talked about it before, but they go out and get Kyle Schwarber, sign him to a nice hunky contract. Then they go Adolis Garcia, Brad Keller, and then since then, we've kind of been left in the dark with still some unanswered questions about where the Phillies are going to be trending for the 2026 season. So let's start with Garcia. This was the move that became official on December 16th. It was announced a few days before that, through the interwebs and the reporters who post on their social medias, as usual. What are our thoughts on Adolis Garcia?
Well, first of all, Happy New Year, everybody. It's great to see everyone again. It's a new year, but we're still with SeatGeek for 2026. So thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring the show. We'll talk more about them later. But it's another 1-year prove-it deal. Same thing they did with Max Kepler last year, except I feel like we all have a little bit more hope in Adolis Garcia, right-handed, right fielder. Has shown a ton of success before. I mean, you remember the 2023 postseason. He was on a different planet. Since then, he hasn't been great last year, 665 OPS, but he's great defensively. And that's just kind of where I'm at. He helps you in the right-handed hitting department, the defensive department. But, Dabrowski going out and saying that this outfield is now set with Adolis Garcia in right, Justin Crawford in center, and Marsh in left really doesn't give me any confidence considering your left fielder, you have said is not an everyday player. Your center fielder has never played center field, and your right fielder really needs a bounce back.
Hasn't hit over 230 the last 2 years. Hasn't had an OPS over 700. In fact, over 685 in the last 2 years.
And even when he was good, like his highest average ever came in 2022 is 250. Now, I mean, the on base and slugging in 2023 was very high. OPS was very good as well. But I mean, since then, it's been nothing. His on base hasn't been over 300 in 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, and even last year, like his power fell off a little bit. He didn't eclipse 20 home runs. He had, in 507 at-bats, 19 home runs, 75 RBI, a 227 average, and an OPS of 665. And again, I think a lot of people have said that we're saying that was an anomaly for Adolis Garcia, but his 2024 wasn't very good either. I mean, he started off a little bit hot, but he ended the season with a 224 average, which was actually lower than his 2025 numbers. His OPS was a bit higher and he had more home runs, but a lot of that was, success in the first half, and he just wasn't able to get the job done.
And he never walks. Like, this guy is either getting a hit or he's not getting on base. Last year he had 28 walks. The year before that, 85. Like, if the Phillies, their number one thing in the playoffs has always been there's no plate discipline. They got a little bit better at it last year. But, you're bringing in a guy that chases one of the most in baseball and walks at really, really low rate. So that also is not great. He also strikes out a ton. So,
yeah, I honestly, the first thought that occurred to me when I saw that they made this move was, besides from like the left-handed, right-handed difference, Kyle Schwarber and Adolis Garcia, it felt like a pretty repetitive, like redundant move. Like I don't I think you're getting two players with very, very similar profiles, just from different sides of the plate. Obviously, with Kyle Schwarber being a little bit more elite of the two, but in terms of like the raw skill set, it seems like there's a lot of overlap between them, and I don't think that you're filling all the gaps you want to fill in your lineup. Because I think on a less competitive team, Garcia could be that cleanup hitter who that stereotypical guy who hits 220 and bangs a lot of home runs, but doesn't have that great of discipline. So,
and his splits are reversed. His OPS against right-handers is 88 points higher than his OPS against left-handed pitchers. So that's really not great for what the Phillies could be trying to do in the outfield if they make another move.
Right. And I'm curious how he's going to fit in if he's going to fit in the top of the lineup, because you've got some lefties up there that you're trying to protect.
This feels like your cleanup hitter, unfortunately. Like
right,
this feels,
that's what I'm saying.
It feels like it's going to be Trey, Schwarber, Harper, Adolis, Garcia, why are you going to pitch to Harper when you can pitch to Garcia? It's another.
They won't.
You're running into the same issue.
They won't.
Or you go with Bohm again.
Bryce Harper's not elite, so it doesn't matter. Anyway.
Right. Anyway, this Garcia signing's really not getting me going.
No, it's not. And I'll tell you another one that's not getting me going. The Brad Keller signing.
This is getting me going, Colin.
Really?
I'm excited about Brad Keller.
For what? He had one good year. 2021 ERA over 5.
That's all I mean, the Phillies
ERA over 5.
They sign guys that suck but had one good year in the past. Brad Keller, he might have been horrible, but his most recent year has been great. So we keep that going. And that was the first year. Last year was the first year he was a full-time reliever as well. He started one game last year. I guess 24, but he kind of bounced around a little bit. But 2025, he finally got a chance as a full-time reliever. He solidified with Chicago, and he had a 2.07 ERA. Like, I don't care who you are, if you have a 2.07 ERA in how many innings? What was it? 69.2 innings. Essentially 70 innings. Like, that's pretty good. He had 25 holds. Where's his whip? 0.96 whip. Like,
yeah.
I'm excited about Brad Keller. 2 years, $22 million. It's kind of a lot of money. That to me a lot of times is like a back end starter kind of deal, which I hope this isn't. But I like Brad Keller in the back end of the bullpen for the Phillies.
Yeah, I don't know. He was a full-time reliever with Boston. His numbers weren't good there, but it is a smaller sample size. But yeah, we'll see. And the Phillies have had luck. Ooh, wait, I can't say that after last year, but besides last year, the Phillies have had some luck with relievers the last few years. Jeff Hoffman, I think, is one of the biggest examples. Matt Strahm even picked it up, and we'll talk about him later when he initially came to Philadelphia. So, yeah, maybe Keller will really continue his ways that he had in Chicago last year in Philadelphia. But I definitely think off the bat, those numbers from 2021 to like 2024 are alarming at first, and like it's something to keep an eye on. Keller does have the ability to go multiple innings. We saw that last year. I'm curious if they would stretch him out as a long reliever, and I do almost wonder, in the event that something happens, if they would do something again similar to Matt Strahm. Was it 2 years ago? I think it was, where they move him into a starter's role in the event that they're out of options. However, I also think right now the Phillies have some minor league options that are ready that weren't ready back then that they might turn to instead. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But
yeah, I would be shocked if Keller.
Me too. Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, the Phillies they have Caleb Cotham. He's a great pitching coach. He's done great things. Look what he did with Zach Wheeler. Like, Wheeler came over, and became one of the best pitchers in baseball. He was always good with the Mets, but he was never elite. Ranger Suarez is another example. Just the things he's been able to do with guys, and just lift them up. I mean, he helped Matt Strahm, Jeff Hoffman. He developed into one of the best relief pitchers in baseball. Although he might be scarred now after the World Series. So there's a couple others as well, but Cotham's done great things here. He struck out with Jordan Romano, but you're not gonna help every student. So, hopefully, Cotham can elevate Keller's game, and Phillies could have something for the next 2 years and beyond.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of elevating a game, Phillies also made a pre-Christmas trade. Kyle Backus from well, now he's from Philadelphia, but from Arizona at the time. Um, you know, this one I'm a little bit intrigued by. I mean, he had some really, really good stats in the minor leagues. I think he was one of the minor league baseball organizational all-stars a couple years ago. His numbers last year in the big leagues weren't great. He bounced around a lot between the minor leagues and the major leagues. He had a 4.62 ERA in 32 games. He did acquire 2 saves, interestingly, um, whiff of 1.42. But I'll tell you, I think one of the things that I've oh gosh, this is going to be a name. Are you ready for this, Ben? Do you remember from probably the late 20 teens? I think he was a tall lefty reliever, Austin Davis.
Yeah.
He,
Yeah.
but yeah, I know. He bounced around between the minor leagues and the major leagues so much. Like, I genuinely think they made that rule of you can't go up and down more than 5 times in a year because of Austin Davis, because he was like 8. I mean, it felt like every single game there was after every game there was some transaction regarding Austin Davis, whether there was an injury or a double header. He was the one getting moved up or down just for a transaction between the minors and the majors, just wholesale. Austin Davis got moved around all the time, and Kyle Backus has gotten moved around a lot in his career. So I do kind of wonder if that will play a role. He also had gone through the minor league system pretty quickly, so he hasn't really had a home yet. So I'm kind of curious how he hasn't in his professional career played 1 year on the same team ever. That has to be a pretty significant adjustment to make so often. So I think there's potential here, kind of fresh start, new home, new coaches. Like you mentioned before, a pitching coach who has a record for getting some younger, underdeveloped players and striking gold. So
Davis in 2019, Austin Davis in 2019 was optioned and recalled 14 times. He was recalled on July 4th and then optioned on July 5th. He was optioned. He was recalled on May 11th, optioned May 12th, and then recalled on May 13th. He was optioned, and then he was optioned June 12th and then lasted a little bit till July 4th.
A whole 2.5 weeks.
He was placed on the temporary inactive list on July 11th and then activated off that list the very next day. And then recalled on July 16th, then optioned again on July 18th.
That is ridiculous.
But he lasted the whole year after August 24th. He lasted the rest of the season.
Well, yeah, they probably they shipped everyone off at the trade deadline. So I'll tell you though, that does make me think, because I guess this is a bit of a tangent, but 14 times, I feel like that is borderline inhumane. This guy had a family, friends, relationships, and you're just shipping him off to wherever you please Not only for like, I mean, and I know this is part of the job, but like for away games and when you're home, you would want to be home, but his home wasn't even consistent. I feel like it has to be frustrating.
So his trade came on August 26, 2020. The Phillies traded Austin Davis to the Pittsburgh Pirates at the time for a player to be named later and cash. The player that was named later, which came nearly a month later, was Joel Caesar.
Like the Explorer. I like it.
Might be Cesar as C. I don't know, but anyway, he's still playing. He was with the El Paso Chihuahuas in 2025.
So not with us. He's
No.
gone.
Yeah, he's with San Diego. San Diego's
El Paso. Could you imagine like being a professional, like a full-on professional baseball player, and someone's like, "Oh, really? Who you play for?" "Oh, I'm a Chihuahua. I am Chihuahua." Or like, "I'm a jumbo shrimp." "Oh, come on, flying squirrel."
They even like professional teams like I'm a devil. Like, hell's wrong with you? Anyway,
When I'm commissioner, the names are gonna become like why don't we have the Bulldogs? Where are the Bulldogs? That's a great nickname. Where are the Hounds? Where's like the Coyotes?
there
These
was
are
a
scary.
Arizona Coyotes, but they're hockey.
Well, they're coming back. We're bringing the
All right, bringing the
oh,
Oats back.
I don't do hockey. They're like that's like an existing hockey team right now.
No, they got
Oh,
murdered a couple years ago.
shoot. Well, I'm
Now
bringing
they're the Utah Mammoth, which is awesome. I think that's a good name.
just one mammoth.
Yeah, just singular.
Is there mammoth plural? Mammoths?
I believe it's just Mammoth. Their logo's cool. Anyway, the final move that the Phillies made, basically, they traded Matt Strahm to Kansas City for right-handed reliever Jonathan Bolin. It was rumored that the Phillies were going to move Strahm, but they get back a career minor leaguer that has never really had success in the majors. So this is just basically a salary dump. Phillies got some salary back for Matt Strahm, which it happens, but this is very weird to me. It came out later that Strahm had some issues with Phillies coaches and members in the clubhouse that he went back and forth with. That sometimes players play out their stay and things just don't end great, and you got to move on. But personally, I would have liked for there to be a little bit more of a return than nothing against Jonathan Bolin, but more of a guy that's major league ready and perhaps left-handed.
Yeah, that's a fair point. He was okay in his big league stint last year to 3.86 ERA and 44 and a third innings. And he struck out 46 batters, 230 opponent batting average. So, there's a glimmer of hope. He has not had really any consistent major league experience before that. I mean, he pitched 3 innings in 2023. He pitched 2 2/3 innings in 24. So, there's definitely some room for improvement there, but I think, with where the Phillies bullpen's at right now, he could very well have a spot in there come March 26th, I think it is, against Texas.
Texas.
But
well, here's my thing here is you're back end left-hander that you are going to be relying on to face, guys like Shohei Ohtani and Juan Soto. Is Jose Alvarado, who when he came back last year after his PED suspension was straight up horrible. You're putting a lot on Alvarado to kind of bounce back after what he went through last year, and lost the respect of a lot of fans, me myself included. That doesn't sit. That's not great, especially when you got all these great left-handed power bats in the National League. Not good.
Yeah, because I mean, no, and you're right. Like when you really boil it down, Matt Strom, Jonathan Bolin, the return's not equal there. So now we have this gaping hole in our bullpen, and we're trying to fill it with Jose Alvarado, which is just it's not a secure option. And honestly, I don't I am worried because I thought last year the bullpen was pretty detrimental. Maybe not in the playoff setting as much, but definitely at especially the beginning of the regular season. I mean, it was bad. I was, and I know we talked about this on the show, but I was getting like some 2020 vibes with the beginning of the Phillies season with the bullpen. I mean, like, and again, I don't want to beat the dead horse because he's long gone. The thank the Lord. But Jordan Romano was like historically bad last year for the Phillies. Like that was a record breaking season in the worst way possible. And like that's not I mean he posted one of the historically worst ERAs for a qualified pitcher in Major League Baseball history. Like that's crazy. How are we letting on a team that many people considered to be a top 4 team in baseball last year? How are we letting that be the case? And it seems like we're just going to roll into 2025. Oh my gosh, into 2026 with the exact same plan. Arguably worse at where we're at right now.
Alvarado, when he returned from his suspension, he pitched in 6 innings. He allowed 3 homers. This was 8 appearances, by the way. 6 innings, allowed 3 homers. It's an ERA of 7.5. And then he ended the year on the injured list with a strained left forearm. Quotations around the strained left forearm. So, anyway, that's what the Phillies have done since they re-signed Kyle Schwarber and extended Rob Thompson. To me, it's not great, but something that is great is SeatGeek. SeatGeek is great. They are awesome. And if you want to go watch the Phillies blow some games because their bullpen stinks, coming up in March, or spring training is 6 weeks away. That's crazy. You can go to SeatGeek, buy your tickets at SeatGeek. They're the best. And when you're there, use code Philly Sports Report. You save $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. PHILLYSPORTS What are we doing with that S, Colin?
Hold the S. Throw it out in the bullpen. It's not going to do anything out there anyway. Nobody does.
It could be like Brad Keller, who had 25 holds last year, and he'll hold that S for you. Negative SeatGeek for sponsoring the Bell Ringers podcast. Again, that's code Philly Sports Report. Save $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Colin.
I have an idea. I think we should make a SeatGeek advertisement and put like pictures of like the guys on it, but only the ones that no one would recognize. Like we need to make a Bacchus and a Bolin and who are the other no namers we've got? Who was the guy that we got from? We signed him like earlier in December
Like a
on a
minor league
deal.
I don't know.
I thought it was like something Top, which makes me just think of Zach Top because that's the country singer. But
Definitely not him.
Zach Pop. Yeah. Like we need to put all these guys onto an advertisement and then just blast it out everywhere. And we'll just confuse people. But also like it's an underlying statement of like, who are these people? Why are we signing them? They're not going to help us. Maybe my negativity.
But SeatGeek will help you. SeatGeek will definitely help you. What do we got next, Colin?
Well, I think we should talk. We should talk JT.
All right.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Well, when the Phillies re-signed Schwarber, they offered JT a contract. It's a 2-year deal, and JT Realmuto has been sitting on it since then. There's been really nothing since. It's been like the Red Sox are in. That's about it.
Right. So they're at a
So
standstill.
there's really been nothing since then. To me, it's like Realmuto wants this third year. I don't know if he's gonna get it from the Phillies or not, especially at this point. But I mean, we're recording this. It's January 4th, and there's been no resolution. It's gonna get to a point where he's just gonna take whatever he's got sooner than later because it's starting to get a little late in the process. But how important is it really for the Phillies to re-sign JT Realmuto? Like, they can go out and trade for a catcher. They can try to do something with Rafael Marchand. Like, is it really the end of the world if they don't re-sign JT Realmuto? I guess it is if they don't do anything else.
So would you rather see them pivot? Let's start with this. Would you rather see them pivot to a different catcher that might not be overall as high a caliber player as you could get if you went a different route and looked for a position player or a pitcher to just, kind of enhance the team generally?
Well, I don't know who that other catcher would be that they could go and
Yes,
trade for. And also, like, the Phillies don't have a lot that they can really trade unless they're trading for a superstar. Which in that case, I would rather, if you're just trading for a catcher and there's no other move, I'd rather keep Realmuto. However, if you can go out and sign a Bo Bichette or an Alex Bregman and re-sign Harrison Bader or something like that, I'm fine with letting Realmuto go because you're helping other spots in the lineup that need help. And let's say like Rafael Marchand is your catcher. Like, he's good defensively. He's got a good pop time. Like, he could throw guys out. Like, if he's down hitting like 240, 230 at the bottom of your lineup, like he's come through a couple of times in his career. Like I'm not saying it's fine, but like, it's okay.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, Marchand isn't going to be the best catcher in baseball, but I feel like if he gets an opportunity to be a full-time player, he could hold his own. And yeah, you're right. He's had some. I mean, when he first got recalled, I mean, it's one of the coolest stories. I think he like didn't hit a home run in all of the minor leagues or something, or he had like one. And one of his first at bats was, say, it was Phillies versus Blue Jays. Hits one like out the deep part in right center field, and remember, I'm sure I've told the story 1,000 times on here, but you know how they had the cardboard cutouts in
Yeah,
2020?
they didn't have his picture.
Yeah, it was a shame. So they just got like someone got like probably either a blank one or they got one that like wasn't out there and they just turned it around so it was on the white side. They just sharpied on like a smiley face, and I think he was number 13. It was like Marchand number 13.
Yeah, maybe they took mine out from behind the.
They could have. That would be really cool though. I don't.
My cutout was like the last row, like behind the dugout, so nobody really saw it. And I never got to pick it up. I never got to get it back. It was on display in the gate. Third base gate. It was on display, 2020, and then I never got it back.
I feel like having the Rafael, if that's the case, what they did, having the Rafael Marchand like cutout would be really cool. Like I want the Rafael Marchand cutout. Like I feel like that's a valueless piece of memorabilia.
You could probably make
want
it.
that.
Just make one.
Well, that's cheating.
You gotta.
I can't do that.
But like, really, how important is it to have a great Colin and I were talking before this. The top three teams in baseball, when you look at it, Cal Raleigh, Will Smith, Alejandro Kirk, three of the best catchers in the MLB. If you have a great team, you also have a great catcher. It just seems like that's the way it aligns. But like,
and JT Realmuto and the Phillies.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to put the Phillies fifth, but if you like, is it really that? Like, you look at the 25 other teams. If you have a good lineup, like Carlos Ruiz wasn't the best hitting catcher. Like, Chooch was awesome, but he wasn't gonna, go crazy for you. Like, I don't know. Like, what are you really getting from JT anymore? Like, it's weird. It's very weird.
Well, it's
You know?
weird and it's expensive,
Yeah, I mean,
which makes
I
you
would
wonder.
rather spend the JT money, which I want to talk
Okay.
about this extra money the Phillies have sitting around in a little bit after we talk about Japan. Um, I'd rather spend this extra money and go out and get a great third baseman and help out your outfield.
Or resign Bader.
Yeah, that's helping out your outfield. So
All right, let's talk Japan. I'm gonna let you do the pronunciation of names, and I'll just prepare yourself.
Japan, we are moving east. Tatsuya Imai. The Phillies were very rumored around Imai. He said he wanted to beat the Dodgers. All right, come to Philadelphia.
That was hilarious.
Phillies were in on him. They seem to be the lead with the Yankees and the Cubs. Out of nowhere, here come the Houston Astros. Hello. 3 years, up to $63 million. There's like an opt-out after every single year. And then Kazuma Akamoto, who was the corner infielder, power bat, right-handed hitter. The Phillies weren't really rumored around. Would have been fun though. Would have fit very well. He's going to the Blue Jays for 4 years and $60 million, which is really not that expensive. And I would have liked the Phillies to match or maybe even give a little bit more for Akamoto. So my problems here. The opt-outs. The Phillies came out and said that they do not do opt-outs. That's kind of a red flag. I know that was, probably known around the league, but now everybody knows that. And that's a turnoff for a lot of superstars that want to, sign. Like, let's say Kyle Tucker wants an opt-out after his 4th year. He immediately is crossing the Phillies off his list. Let's say Bryce Harper was so keen on the opt-outs in 2019. He didn't come to Philadelphia. And they didn't resign, and they didn't sign Manny Machado. Imagine the Phillies missed out on both those guys in 2019 because they didn't win
This
off.
team wouldn't even look the same as it does right now. I mean, it would be a completely different set of players. We wouldn't have Trey Turner. I don't think we'd have Kyle Schwarber.
Like this, like the opt-outs are a big thing for a lot of players, and the Phillies are straight up saying no to that. Like, that's kind of weak. And then you don't offer enough for Akamoto. Like that's a contract you could have like matched with the Phillies. They want to get in the Japanese market so bad, but obviously not bad enough if they're not willing to match 460 or offer an opt-out.
Yeah, and I mean, we have seen a trend where these guys want to come to the West Coast, so the Phillies needed to be able to do more than just matching those contracts. They're going to need to, offer something that really entices them to come east.
We got cheesesteaks.
Oh,
We got a good
have
mascot.
cheesesteaks, but
Our PA announcer's really good.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
I could be sold on that.
You want your name to be announced? Cool. We got Dan Baker for you.
That would be a new challenge for Dan Baker. The Japanese names.
Oh yeah, he would nail it. He'd be fine.
He would, yeah. He'd even put a little like accent on there. He'd be good.
So now with Okamoto being the third baseman in Toronto, this kind of opens a little door for Bo Bichette to come to maybe the Phillies. That came out yesterday or Saturday. John Heyman was like, "Oh, Phillies are interested in Bo Bichette." I would love it. I would absolutely love it. And this ties into what we're going to end with. There's money sitting around. We're in on Imai. There was money there to give Imai. So there's definitely money sitting around. You got an offer for JT. So, you got options. You got Bo Bichette, who the Phillies are apparently in on. You got Alex Bregman, who we've heard nothing about recently and has been another weird story. You got Harrison Bader, which is outfield market seems to be kind of collapsing in the favor of the Phillies with the Bader. And also, when was the last time you heard something about Ranger Suarez? Like the pitcher market's kind of dying as well. Like, Phillies could maybe swoop back in. Hey, Ranger,
come home.
So
I thought I saw something yesterday that said the Phillies and Ranger Suarez were talking.
yeah, it's like, we're talking right now too.
Well, this is true. But I mean, I was surprised by that because I thought that was that was gone. But who knows? So, what is your like? Let's to talk about that final point that you wanted us to discuss. What is like your ideal ending to the off season? How are we going to spend this leftover money? How would you allot it?
How do I think it's going to be done, or how do I want it to be done?
Give me an optimistic expectation.
The Phillies re-signed JT Realmuto, and they sign a utility player that I don't know to like a 2-year, like $16 million deal,
Okay.
like an infielder. And then that's it.
I would say priority number one. I didn't. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I'm bringing back Harrison Bader.
I would love it.
I don't think he's super expensive right now, and I'd love to see him in a Phillies uniform for at least a full season. I think he's gonna want a multi-year deal, and honestly, I would give it to him. And then I'd say we'll keep the theme going, bring the troops home. And I'd throw in like another million, 2 million in there, whatever the existing contract is for Realmuto. Give him a mutual option for what would that be? 2020.
7-28. Yeah.
Yeah, for 8. And then we can figure out the third year when we get there. No pressure.
I just like I look at this roster, I look at this Phillies roster right now, and I'm not stoked. I'm not excited. I'm disappointed with how this offseason has gone so far, but there's obviously money there. Last year they tried to offer Yoshinobu Yamamoto over $300 million, and then that money went nowhere. This year they offered Imai. We don't know the contract, but there was definitely some sort of money offer. Obviously, it went nowhere. There's money sitting around. There has to be something done to improve this roster. We heard from the Phillies, like, we're not running it back. There's going to be a different team next year. This is a worse team. Your outfield is full of inconsistency.
I was just going to say it.
Your third baseman is a guy that should have been moved a year ago, and you have 2 options out there, Alex Bregman and Bo Bichette. The pitching, like, this roster is not suited to go deep in the postseason. It might not even be suited to go in, get to the postseason right at this point right now. And there's money there. You have to utilize it. Something has to be. Just do something. Give us something, Phillies, to give us some sort of hope. Because if you walk into 2026, if you walk into spring training, or if you walk into Citizens Bank Park in March of 2026 with this roster that you have right now,
it's going to be a long year.
It's going to be a long season with not a lot of people in the ballpark come September.
All right, I've got a question. I'm going to leave you on a somber note today. I apologize for it. This is my last question. Feel free to answer or not. Is there any way that between now and whenever they sign, the last free agent gets signed, the Phillies can go into 2026 with a roster that is as good or better than last year? Is there any possibility that happens?
I mean, yeah, but that would require moving Bohm, maybe moving Stott. That would require re-signing. I mean, this outfield is kind of the same as last year, if not maybe a little worse.
Oh, it's worse.
So, you
That's worse.
you add something to the outfit. They would require multiple moves. I think, maybe a little bit more to your bullpen. I don't know what the starting pitching rotation is going to look like come March because you don't know if Wheeler's ready to go. You don't know if Andrew Painter's ready to go. So realistically, honestly, probably not. However,
No, I don't think there's any chance.
I think there is
Zero
a chance.
No.
There is a chance if the Phillies make one of the moves that we have spoken about towards the latter part of the show, which in honesty, with the Phillies track record of the last few years, doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Even if they move Bohm, get Bichette, re-sign Bader, re-sign Realmuto, I don't think they're as good as last year. Remember, we're going into the season right now. I'm saying no Wheeler, no Suarez. For at least, no Suarez probably forever, and no Wheeler for at least the first half of the season.
I mean, the pitching might not be, the rotation probably will definitely not be as good, but the offense could be better on paper, maybe. Let's think about it. If they re-sign Bader, and they could trade Marsh, and then Crawford moves to left field.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot on Justin Crawford as well because we really don't know how that's going to pan out.
He's not he never plays. He doesn't play center field, and they're putting him center field his first year.
Defense is. He'll figure it out. He's an athletic guy.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
And he played a little bit of center field. Not last year, but he played center field earlier in the minors.
It's just we're gonna put him in center field and see what happens. Is what the statement was from Dombrowski.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more worried about the bat, but I mean, he could be a 300 hitter. Who knows?
That'd be cool. No power.
Last time we had a speedy defense first outfielder who used to hit for a high average. It didn't work. That was Johan Rojas. So maybe this time it'll pan out. We'll have to see.
Hopefully.
It would be nice.
All right. Well, thank you all for watching and listening to the Above Limit podcast. Hopefully next time we talk to you,
I hope so too, Ben.